I want to share three common misconceptions I see experts have about authority. And the first one is that authority isn't binary. It's a spectrum. There's no such thing as you either have or don't have authority. It's all relative. So, do I have authority as a web designer? Well, not compared to an actual web designer, but compared to someone who doesn't know how to set up a WordPress site and install a template, I can do that. So I have authority in that realm, but I wouldn't say that I'm an authoritative web designer, right? Whether or not you have quote unquote authority as an expert is entirely dependent on who the audience is you're targeting and what they need. So that's really important to understand. You will have authority with a certain group of people. There is no, do I have authority or not have authority, right? It's completely context dependent. The second misconception I see experts have about authority is that credentials don't equal authority. And I think lots of people think that they do. Most credentials, I believe, are actually completely unnecessary. And that I found in most cases, the people who chase them aren't as good as the ones who have simply gone out and do the work. My pet peeve is people that are like, I'm going to go get this certificate. I'm all about learning how to do things. But to think that because you have a certificate that says you know SEO means that you're good at SEO is meaningless. I don't care what certificates that you have. Just by the way, in the working world, I don't care what your job title is. I've worked at companies that had 4 employees and been a vice president of blah, blah, blah. There were 4 employees. It doesn't matter that I was a vice president. Credentials can create authority or a perception of authority in the eyes of people who don't know you or your work. It's not that a credential or certificate is not totally useless, but whatever authority you get from a credential can be immediately lost once they discover you or your actual work. It doesn't matter. You can say, I'm an expert in this and I wrote a book about this. And as soon as they read that book, if that book's no good, the value of that credential immediately goes to zero. So if that's the case, if authority and credentials only slightly open the door and it can be lost like that, did you ever really have it in the first place? Versus, okay, maybe I don't have any credentials. Maybe I don't have a degree from some fancy school. I didn't go to Harvard Business School. But if you read a blog post from me and you're like, wow, that's really smart, suddenly I have authority. The value of the credential can go away very quickly, or lack of credential can be overcome very quickly. In a lot of cases, credentials just create an illusion of authority as opposed to actual authority. And then the third misconception that I see when it comes to authority among experts is I personally believe that you don't actually need authority. I think a lot of times people are hoping for authority. They want it to give themselves permission to come across as an expert or give people advice or whatever. But the truth is, you don't really need it. Authority is mostly an illusion, and not having it won't prevent you from doing anything that you want to do. I've found that in a lot of cases, the more someone thinks they need a quote unquote need authority to succeed, the more insecure they are about themselves and their work. It's that insecurity which is actually holding them back, not the lack of authority, the lack of a credential, the lack of sales, whatever. The thing that's holding them back is they're insecure in their own ability. And I'm not criticizing that. That's completely understandable. But a lot of times people are chasing the like, oh, I could get clients if I got this certificate or whatever. It's no, you could get clients if you got really good at whatever it is that you offer and that you want to do and put that in front of people. What you actually need more than authority is confidence, because confidence conveys authority more so than any type of credential, any type of sales number, whatever. Again, not that credentials and sales numbers are valueless. I understand that, okay, I'm maybe more likely to start watching a video from someone who's done X, Y, and Z, or buy a book from someone who's whatever. But whatever authority they have literally can go out the window in a single page. And vice versa. If you can get someone to read a page, you can get someone to read an excerpt from your book and they go, wow, this was really smart. You have all the authority that you need.